Hi Alan, thanks for the video footage and the notes relating to your game. I think you've done a pretty good job, to be fair. I mean, obviously you're a big Mike Bennett fan, so I've tried to get some footage up of Mike here to compare you to. I promise I won't be too harsh. I think you've done a pretty good job. There's a few key aspects I've listed down on the top right there that I'd like to introduce into your game, and I think you should work on over the coming weeks. Overall setup down the line, I'd maybe try to sort of soften up this position that we've got here. Excuse me, wrong graphic. Maybe a little bit too straight in the base of your neck, eyes out this way. I'd try and tilt the eyes down a little bit more, feeling like you're putting the chin down a little bit more. Set up one of the key checkpoints that we use in order to get the left shoulder to work down in the appropriate manner, and to make it easier, we would want a situation where the base of the neck is tilted forward more than the base of the spine, and that's what you're seeing here with Mike. You can see a rounding off at the top and the base of the neck tilted forward more than the base of the spine. Just makes it a little bit easier to get the left shoulder working down and turning on a tilted angle. So from down the line, just one little change, possibly drop the handle a touch, but nothing dramatic. From face on, the big thing I'd like to see here is as you can see here with Charlie, is the knees are out more. You've got the feet turned out, which is good, but then what you also need to do is make sure that the knees are out a little bit more. So feel like that left knee is a little bit more out over the left ankle, and the same with the right. So we get a little bit more of a bowed leg look set up. So as a benchmark, if you wanted to have both feet turned out about 20 degrees and both knees turned out about 10 degrees. So we want the knees out, but not to the same amount that the feet are out. Now with the knees out, that's going to free the hips up dramatically, and again make it much easier to turn the hips, set up the linkage system between the knees. As the right knee straightens, the left knee works forward. As the left knee works forward and the right leg straightens, the right hip works up. That in turn makes it much easier for you to work the left shoulder down and the hands in. So the positioning of the feet and the knees, quite important for you at this point. Now, some of the things I've put up here I've had to surmise based on the information that you've given me. Obviously we can't see the shaft with the camera footage that we've sent over. I'm going to say that based on the fact that you're hitting it quite low, when you were talking about hitting it low and the odd hook, I'll be talking about weakening that left hand up somewhat, just to present the club in a little bit more neutral to open position at impact. If we're hitting out at the golf ball, which when we're looking here on this footage you appear to be nicely, so you're definitely hitting out at that golf ball, butt of the club raising, so we've got the handle higher at impact than we had at setup. We've got an exit position that's midway through the bicep, maybe sort of top half of the left bicep, which again is a slightly higher position than what we're going to see here with Mike. So we're definitely, that's suggesting that we're hitting out, and that at P6 we've got the club in nicely behind the hands. If that is the case, and let's say if we're on the monitor we're hitting out at about 4 degrees, so we're into out 4 degrees, we would want a club face that's ideally 2 degrees open to the target. So 2 degrees close to the path, but 2 degrees open to the target. So flattening off the left wrist and weakening that left hand is a little bit more conducive to achieving that. So first of all, weaken the left hand. What I'd like to then look at, if we look at it from face on, is flexing the left knee forward more from P1 to P2. So P1 setup to P2, when the shaft is parallel with the ground in the backswing, we can see that Charlie's knee is flexing towards us, whereas your knee is moving in a little bit more. It's already preset in that position. So P1 to P2, I'd like to see the left knee flex forward more, and that change setup position would also give a completely different appearance at that point. With the left knee flexing forward a little bit more, you would tend to find that the shoulders would work down. We talked about this earlier in this piece about the linkage system. As that left shoulder worked down more, so that like Mike, it's working at 90 degrees to his inclination to the ground. Then the arms would work in a touch more. You can see there your arms, a little bit of daylight here, but more importantly the shaft wouldn't get rolled behind us quite as much. So left knee flexing forward, slightly change setup position, get the knees out, and then focus on from P1 to P2, keeping the left knee flexed forward. That would also start to keep us side bending to the left, as opposed to maintaining our forward bend a little bit too long, which then at the top gives the appearance of a movement off the golf ball. So this here, this is the maintenance of your forward bend. Charlie Weir's got rid of his forward bend. So left shoulder work down more, but the left shoulder can only work down properly if the left knee works in the appropriate manner. Moving that left knee down would also increase the side bending of the hips, as can be seen here with Charlie. And when the hips don't work properly and they turn excessively, we get this across the line position at P4, rather than that slightly laid off look that we've got with Mike. So set up, feet out, knees out a little bit more, weaken the left hand. In regards to the backswing, get the left knee flexing forward more towards the target line, P1 to P2, and you would then start to see the effects of these two changes at P4. You're going to be less across the line and you're going to be less off the golf ball, so less forward bend maintained, making this gap here less substantial. In regards to the through swing and getting some height on your shots, yes, the weaker grip will help with that. You're going to present the club in a slightly more neutral position. The biggest difference between yourself and Charlie at this point is that Charlie's hips are tucked underneath him more. And that relates to the amount of linear move you have from the top. What you tend to find is that the longest, highest hitters are sliding the hips and extending the quickest and for the longest, and the shorter, lower hitters are sliding the hips and extending to a lesser degree and not as quick. So what we're seeing here with Charlie is more hip slide. If we look at his left knee, the left knee gets much more out in front of the left ankle. It hasn't worked in as much on the way back. It gets out in front sooner and stays out in front. The left knee there, not out in front of the left ankle. Still not out in front of the left ankle. Starting to get out in front of the left ankle. So there's your hip slide. The more hip slide you have, the more side bend to the right you have. Ignore that line. Coming into the golf ball. Sorry, Alan, all fingers and thumbs at the minute. The more side bend to the right you have coming in and through the golf ball, the quicker the angle of ascent. That's what in forums people refer to as axis tilt. So we want more axis tilt, and the way we're going to do that is tuck the hips more. So P9. Feel feel like you're going to tuck the hips. Now, a really good way of feeling that and generating that is to make some little swings, make some half back swings through to a full finish, trying to hit the ball as far as you can. By limiting the length of the backswing and trying to hit the ball as far as you can, you're eliminating or reducing the accumulation of power on the way back. So you've really got to extend. You can't use the arm swing to generate any power, so you've really got to extend and tuck the hips in order to achieve any degree of power. So to work on tucking the hips, some little back swings maybe to waist level, and then try and hit the ball as far as you can, and you're going to get that feeling of pushing up off the ground and tucking the hips. So we'd want to see a little bit more when we get some more footage off you, a little bit more hips forward, knee forward, as we see with Charlie on the bottom centre of the screen. So there are your three keys: weaken the left hand, get the left knee flexing forward more from P1 to P2, and tuck the hips during the through swing. Hope this helps. If you have any questions, you've got my email address there. Feel free to fire any questions you've got across. If I get a chance today at some point, I'll also forward you some details that are relevant to where you are within the stack and tilt swing pattern at this present moment. And like I say, if you have any questions or you're getting any more footage that you want us to have a look at, feel free to send it across. Good luck with the changes. You're along the right lines in regards to the swing pattern that you've chosen. I can attest for that as more than anybody. So like I say, good luck with it. Hope you winter well, and look forward to meeting up with you in the region one day. See you soon.